So the New York Jets went out a couple weeks ago and they defeated the Houston Texans in very good fashion. How did they follow up with a long rest? They lose to the Arizona Cardinals 6-31. They did not have an offensive touchdown in this game. Aaron Rodgers was 22 of 35, 151 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns to 0 interceptions. This is a terrible situation the New York Jets are in. And I'm going to talk about ownership in the next couple of minutes. When I look at this Jets team right now, you have an aging quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is not a terrible quarterback. 15 passing touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That will get it done on most teams. That is supposed to get it done with the New York Jets. It's easy to come on here and for the national media to come out and poke at Aaron Rodgers and make fun of him and say, hey, he's come off a torn Achilles. They traded for Davante Adams. He's not the same quarterback, and he's not. But he's not a terrible quarterback with the New York Jets. He is washed up, but you can win games with Aaron Rodgers. When I look at a lot of games this season, they just come down to bad luck for the New York Jets. When you go to the Steelers game, they got blown out in that matchup. One interception was Aaron Rodgers' fault. The second one was not. It bounced off of Garrett Wilson's shoulder, and it goes for an interception. It puts the Steelers at the 1-yard line. And the Steelers went out there with a ground and pound attack. They ran the football. Against the New England Patriots a couple weeks ago, Greg Zuerlein misses a field goal. They lose the game 22-25. A couple weeks before that against the Buffalo Bills, the first game with Coach Brick being the interim head coach, they lose that game 23-20. Greg Zuerlein missed a lot of field goals in that game, but the Buffalo Bills kicker did not miss his field goals. That's what it came down to. You expect for Aaron Rodgers to go out there and score over 25 points, but right now with this offensive line and the fact that he's an aging quarterback, it's not going to happen. The reason why Aaron Rodgers can be used as a scapegoat for the New York Jets, and rightfully so, you had Nathaniel Hackett, who he has a great relationship with. If you go back to Hard Knocks just last season, you can see how much their relationship is to him. And Aaron Rodgers is a very weird guy, but he loves some Nathaniel Hackett. He won a lot of accolades with him with the Green Bay Packers. But at the same time, Nathaniel Hackett is a terrible offensive coordinator. So they went out there and they basically relieved him of his play calling duties. You now have Todd Downing calling plays. Todd Downing was a terrible offensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans. And he hasn't been the best offensive coordinator with the New York Jets. The offense is better, but how much better can it be with the talent that you have up front? This offensive line is still a major issue because your 2 top tackles can't stay healthy. But they knew that going in. Morgan Moses has missed time this season, and Tyron Smith is an injury-prone tackle. Let's just call it for what it is. You have Olu Fashanu, who you selected in the first round. Olu is a very good tackle coming out of Penn State, and I do believe long-term, Olu is going to be a phenomenal tackle moving forward. The problem is this with Olu Fashanu. They had him playing right guard. That's the first time he's ever played right guard in his career, even dating back to high school. So right now, they have a lot of injuries up front on the offensive line. The offensive line is not particularly good. So when I look at the New York Jets, you have an aging quarterback, a terrible offensive line, one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. It's not going to get it done. When I look at the wide receivers, they're overrated. Garrett Wilson will have some good moments here and there. He has the catch of the year against the Houston Texans. But this season, he has not been reliable. It's certain games he'll go out there, he'll have a good game, but he has had a lot of major drops this season. You made a trade to bring in Davante Adams. He doesn't look the same. Davante Adams looks like he is regressing week by week. He hasn't gotten that connection down with Aaron Rodgers, and I don't believe that he will. Davante Adams wanted to either play with Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, so I don't feel bad for Davante Adams for being in this situation. He deserves this. This is what he wanted. He went from a bad situation with the Raiders to now another bad situation with the New York Jets. The New York Jets season was done when they fired Robert Saleh. Not too many teams can go out there and put their interim head coach in a position to go out there and succeed. The Raiders did many years ago, but that was a special situation with Coach Gruden. Coach Gruden had to go. So they put Rich Bisaccia in as the interim head coach. They made the NFL playoffs. That's not going to happen with the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is a washed-up quarterback, and he's not the same. And you don't have a quarterback of the future moving forward. You traded all those key pieces to bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers, to bring in Davante Adams. It's not working. To go out there and bring in Hassan Reddick. It's not working. And speaking of Hassan Reddick missed a lot of time this season because he wanted to go out there and get a lot of money. He wanted to make sure the money added up. He goes out there, he fires his agent, he brings in Drew Rosenhaus. He came back a couple weeks ago, but he missed training camp. He missed OTAs. So are you going to depend on Hassan Reddick to come in there and to be a premier pass rusher? That's asking a lot for a player that has missed so much time in training camp in the offseason. You have Will McDonald, who has easily been the best pass rusher with the New York Jets. He's a top pass rusher in the NFL. But the problem is this: they can't stop the run. And this was not a problem with Robert Saleh. This became a problem with Coach Brick. Coach Brick was the defensive coordinator. You elevated this man and you put too much on his plate. He's not ready to be a head coach. You should have let Robert Saleh go out there and coach for the rest of the season. But no, you didn't want to do that. And that's on ownership. You know how I mentioned before earlier in the video that I have a lot to say about ownership? Well, you went out there, you fired Robert Saleh. Your defense is not look the same. They can't stop the run. Against the Arizona Cardinals today, they were having their way on the ground game with 3 running backs, with Amari, James Conner, and Trey Benson as well. And Kyler Murray, you know that daunting defense of the New York Jets, they have one of the best passing defenses in the NFL. Kyler Murray was 22 of 24, 266 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and they only sacked him once on the day. Their defense has regressed as well. This defense the last 2 years has been one of the best defenses in the NFL. They can't stop the run, and Ahmad Sauce Gardner is not having the best season right now. This is easily the worst season of his young career, and I still believe that he's a top-tier cornerback in the NFL. I think that he's top 5 to top 10 easily. But he has had a lot of holding penalties this season, and the team in general on the offense and defense, they're not disciplined. They try to make it seem like Robert Saleh was the main reason they weren't going out there and exceeding expectations when it was never really his fault. And he was never going to be a top coach in the NFL with the New York Jets in terms of being a head coach. They stuck that man out there with a terrible quarterback with Zach Wilson. And you expect for him to turn things around with Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers coming off a torn Achilles injury, a lot of this is on Aaron Rodgers, but I place this on Woody Johnson, the owner with the New York Jets. And speaking of Woody Johnson, this is the same man. In 2016, he stepped away from the team because Trump was president. He became an ambassador for the UK. Well, it's heavy speculation, and I do believe within the New York Jets organization, they're planning for him to basically step away again because Trump will be the president of the United States come January the 1st. And him and Trump, they have a close relationship. Why do I bring this up? Because when he steps away, he's going to hand it back over to his brother for the time being. His brother hired Adam Gase. This entire family is terrible with owning the New York Jets. This is a wasted season. You're 3-7. You have to go on a crazy run to make the NFL playoffs. Right now, I don't even believe that they can go out there and beat the Miami Dolphins if they're fully healthy with Tua Tagovailoa. You lost to the Patriots. You lost to the Buffalo Bills. This is one of the worst situations in the NFL, to be 3-7 with an aging quarterback. And you look at this draft class at the quarterback position. Who are you going to bring in? You're going to bring in a guy like Carson Beck? You're going to bring in a guy like Jalen Milroe? Because Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders will both be gone before the New York Jets make their pick, more than likely, because they're going to win some football games for this upcoming season, for this season that we're currently in. When I look at the New York Jets, you still have to go out there. You put too many pieces in. You hope that Aaron Rodgers comes back for at least one more season. But he's not the same guy. I feel bad for the fans. I don't feel bad for Devontae Adams. I don't feel bad for Aaron Rodgers because they have given them everything that they want. And you have good players on this defense still as well. You have Quinn Williams. You have Quincy Williams. Both brothers are very good. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, even though their secondary has been banged up this season. I think the New York Jets will be better off from rebuilding, but at the same time, that's what they just went into with Zach Wilson. They tried to rebuild with him, but he was a terrible quarterback. Nothing is working out with the New York Jets right now. It's just a terrible situation year after year. They were not able to develop Sam Darnold. They were not able to develop Zach Wilson, and this is on ownership. But let me know in the comment section below, do you guys believe the New York Jets can still make the NFL playoffs? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.